YouTube, this is Bill Wiser coming to you from Wiser3d Printing and Design. Excited to share this video with you. This is actually our first adventure into the YouTube video space. Well, at least with being in front of the camera and chit-chatting in any particular way. And so anyway, just excited to share with you a little bit about what we're gonna be doing today. Before I do that, I just wanted to share, as this is the first video, I just want to share a little bit about Wiser3d Printing and Design and why I'm even making this video in the first place. So we started in, and by we I mean my wife and I started into this hobby of 3D printing just about 2 years ago now. Like most people, we started with one printer we got for Christmas and just had so much fun with it. But it was a challenge, and what I quickly found is that I was consuming a lot of YouTube content, trying to learn how to make this printer do what I wanted it to do. Anyways, and I was blown away by the amount of content and information and just the knowledge that existed in the YouTube community. There's a lot of great content makers out there helping to further the 3D printing world and just, I think, doing a great service. So hats off to all of you guys. Big fans of so many different people, I can't even start to name them. But anyways, we've consumed a lot of video, learned a lot of things. One printer turned into 2, which turned into 7, which has now turned into 10. And we've really enjoyed this hobby a ton. Right now we're operating a print farm that is mainly BambuLab printers, 3 P1Ss, an A1 Mini and an A1. And those are great machines, had a lot of fun with those, and they've been working, I don't know, a lot of hours over the last year or so. I also fairly recently purchased a Prusa MK4, and then even more recently upgraded that MK4 to an MK4S. We also put an MMU3 on that unit, and that's a great machine too. We've really had I love the Prusa equipment. Just I'm a big Lego guy, love building Lego, and so for some reason the Prusa kits have just been a joy for me. It's a lot of fun. So, and it's a workhorse. So that's kind of where we're at. We're selling a little bit, like a lot of people do. We kind of graduated from the hobby and started trying to figure out ways to fund it. And so we've done some markets, we've done some Etsy sales, some Facebook marketplace sales, things like that. A lot of prints for friends and family and so forth. So we've made enough money in that process to be able to fund the farm and keep things going, buy lots and lots of filament. So anyway, that's our story at Wiser3d, and just excited to kind of get back a little bit and share some of our experiences that we've had with you for those that are interested to watch. So today we've got a pretty cool model that we wanted to share with you. This has been going around the internet quite a bit lately. We found it a couple of months ago. Purchased it, and I went out looking for videos on people assembling this particular model and found none at the time. And so I know there have been a couple of videos recently, and so I just wanted to kind of share our experience and show a little bit of an assembly video of this particular model. So the model that we're going to be showing is this Haunted Manor. The designer is Fulv, and we picked it up here on Wiser3d.com, and man, it is such a cool model. So we're excited to kind of share the assembly process with you. Here's kind of the website showing some of the pictures of the model, and I'll show you a version that we've already assembled as well, and then we'll kind of walk through the process a little bit from start to finish. So this is his Wiser3d page. You can also find Fulv on Patreon, and you can go subscribe and support him on Patreon. And I believe if you jump on Patreon and become a paid member, then there's some benefits to be able to, for instance, commercially sell the model or the assembled model, so forth. But also, I believe, if I remember right, you get a free download once a month of one of his models. So that may be a good way to go about jumping into this space as well, or just supporting him on his amazing design work. Really phenomenal work, and we're excited to show you what he's been doing. Okay, so let me kind of share with you this model that we've already assembled. Like I said, we assembled a version already, and so let's just cut over to that. Okay, so here is the assembled model from Fulv, this Haunted Manor, and you can see this whole model is 3D printed. It is a lot of time to print this out. As you can see, there's a ton of detail in this model. There's a lot of parts to print. We'll go over those parts. And anyway, and then there's also an LED backlight in there. You can kind of see the version of the lights that we got, and we'll show you where we got those, what it is. It reacts to audio, and so you can kind of see it interacting with my voice, or if you're playing music in the background or TV or whatever, it will interact with that. It's really cool. And yeah, as you can see, there's just a ton of little intricate details in this model. So really cool design, and just amazing work by Fulv. So we're going to be sharing with you a little bit about that particular model, and just going over some of the details of this particular model that we put together. So we're going to start, I think, with just an overall idea. I'm not going to show you the printing of this model. There's a lot of printing videos out there. I will say it took, on the BambuLab P1S, I think about 85 hours, we figured, to print all of these different pieces. And that's, you know, it's a commitment. It doesn't take a ton of filament, actually, surprisingly, so it's fairly affordable to print. It does take a lot of time. I think there's 39 different plates sliced in BambuLab slicer, so it takes a lot. The cool thing about the model, though, and as I'll show you that view again, all of these, because they're separate pieces, you can actually print these on a single color printer. He does include the Prusa slicer files that would allow you to print it with either an MMU3 or an MMU unit and doing automatic color changes, or you can actually put he puts pauses at certain layers, and so if you have a single color printer, you can actually swap manually those colors out as it prints, and still get this exact same model out of a single color printer. So really detailed, cool work, and opens the possibilities for everyone, I think, who has a printer to make this happen. So let's go ahead and we'll share with you some of the different filaments and so forth that we used, and you can choose to use any filaments you would like on this model. It doesn't really matter. Sky's the limit. Let your imagination go wild. But let me show you what we used on ours. Okay, get this out of the way and bring over the filaments here. So we utilized a variety of filaments. Several different colors are needed. The base color for this particular print that we're doing, we utilized what is a BambuLab filament. This is a PLA basic, or actually I guess it's a matte. It is a matte finish PLA. This is ash gray, and so that's that particular one. For the base and some of those, I've been a fan of FlashForge PLA for quite a while. We've used a lot of it. This particular filament is a Galaxy Black matte finish. That's a great filament, and a lot of the filament makers have something similar. Sticking with the FlashForge side, we also use this metallic gray or metal gray silk filament PLA. That's for kind of some of the fencing and statues and so forth. For the roof and some of the accent pieces, we use this BambuLab Galaxy PLA. This is purple, but that's a really cool color filament. For the windows, so the windows in this particular model are kind of semi-transparent in that they're really printed very thin to do that, but this is a glow-in-the-dark, let's see, Polylite PLA. This is luminous orange, and I think he actually, Fulv calls this out in his PDF instructions that come with his models. So we picked up a roll of that. We also used this Polyterra PLA Marble White. This is for a lot of the accent pieces on the building. It's also for some of the statues and some of that sort of stuff. So this turns out really cool. It looks very rock-like. And then last but not least, the only roll that isn't PLA in this model that I used is a PTG translucent red. And again, this was called out in Fulv's instructions or recommendations. This is a pretty transparent red. We use very little of it, but it's for the pool of blood in the fountain is what we use that for. So anyway, really, really cool filaments. And again, you can use whatever filaments you'd like. I mean, the sky's really the limit, and however you'd like to put it together. The other thing that we did, we picked up these. I got these on Amazon. This is a Govee TV backlight, and this is for a 50 or 40 to 50 inch TV. This size actually worked perfect, and we'll show you as we assemble this just how perfect this fits into this particular model. So I think Fulv's maybe in the UK, or at least the link that I had for these were a UK Amazon link. So I found something similar. It ended up working just perfect. So that unit there is not very expensive. I think I paid maybe $15 for that set. The other item that you will need is a good adhesive. This model that's already assembled here, I used just some Loctite gel super glue, and it worked fine for what we're doing. I did pick up as well this instant adhesive from Amazon. This is a great glue for PLA prints, and it also comes with a bunch of kind of small fine detail applicators. And so I think I'll try and use that one for this assembly video. Yeah, I think that's it for the PLA and all the parts. So we'll go now to the parts themselves. Okay, so we're gonna kind of talk through the parts themselves now. Starting with the base, like I said, we pre-printed all these parts for this video, so I'm not gonna show you the printing process of these parts, but just know about 85 hours of printing time. So these 4 Galaxy PLA kind of black parts make up the base of the unit. So that's all gonna be glued together. We then have the largest print in this particular model. This is the building itself, and like I said, you can kind of see here how the layers are laid out between this ash gray PLA and then the white marble. And again, you could, if you were on say a Prusa Mark III, I could simply put in a pause here, this layer, change the filament manually, and continue the print. And so you could fairly easily do these on a single color printer with some manual pauses and changes. Then you have some pieces that help to make up the roof of the unit. And so a couple of different items here again with those layers, so that you can pause and print again. Those will help make up the top of the building. And then the roof itself. This is that cool BambuLab Galaxy purple PLA, which is just awesome, I think. Some accent pieces for the top of the roof. We do have kind of these two pieces. This is a structural piece that just goes on the inside. This is for the LED light strip to get affixed to inside the center of the building, so it will kind of go down in here. And he's also included a different part if you say wanted to put a light socket in there and just a single LED bulb or something in there to just illuminate it. It includes that part as well. Let's see, we have some parts for the top of the building, some accent pieces. Again, I love the detail on these pieces, some stove pipes for the top of the building. Those will all go there. When we come into the courtyard, the grounds, if you will, some cool, again, all layers, right? So I know it looks pretty fancy, but you can totally do it in layers. That's how he's laid it out. And so here's kind of some shrubs and walkway. So those will go in the courtyard. Maybe one of the coolest features of this particular build is the LED underneath the sidewalks. And so this is kind of the walkway going in, and it has that translucent or that luminous orange glow-in-the-dark PLA there with some of the purple on top. So it kind of gives that cracked vibe underneath. There's some other accent pieces for some of the other areas, the doorstep, walkway, patios. Okay, we have some fencing or wall, what makes up the walls and the fencing around the outside of the building. And again, these are really cool. He's included just great details in here, skulls on top of these posts and so forth. Those will go around the outside. Let's see. Some more accent pieces for the building itself. Some columns that will be decorative around the outside. The corner stone works for the outside of the building. And some columns to help hold up the small balcony above the porch. Okay, here's some cool things. These are very thin. These are the fencing or gates that will go around the outside of the model. So we've got a lot of those kind of pieces. Lots of accent pieces for around the building. These are all individual skulls, kind of trim work that goes around the outside edges of the building itself, around the roof line and so forth. So lots of those little pieces to go in. Like I said, this model has a ton of pieces, so it's kind of cool. Again, lots of little trim pieces for around the building. This is kind of a little, top of the building decorative piece that acts as kind of a walkway, I guess, or a railing around the top of the building, and some bottom window pieces. We're getting close to the end here. Okay. These are again, little detailed pieces, the front door, for instance. There's an option on this building. When you're printing, you can decide to put this at the top of the archway at the top of the building, kind of a little clock with some skulls, or you can do the more aggressive monster skull there on the top. And that goes into this top piece. And then stairs and patio pieces and so forth that will go in place. Okay. All right. Yeah, tons of windows and openings in this building to cover up. And so he's included all these small window pieces. And again, these are just layered, so you can print those on a single color printer. But they've got that orange bottom layer with kind of a purple grid, stone on the outside, silver accent piece on the top. So anyway, really cool, but tons of window pieces to go on this building, and they all get glued in. There are a lot of assembly on that side. I said tons of those. I dropped one, of course. And then, yeah. All right, this is the fountain. And this is where that PTG filament comes in place, that translucent red, but this fountain is pretty dang cool and very detailed, as you can kind of see different skulls, the knight there with his sword and so forth. So assemble that. And then on the decoration side, we also have a lot of gargoyles and statues and so forth. So here's kind of some of those statues and the gargoyles that are there at various places to protect the building, so forth. These are all printed in that silk PLA. And last but not least, we have these options for decorating the front garden. And so he's included 3 different options to put in place in the front garden there. Okay. So in the model we just showed you, we kind of have these pumpkin-shaped hedges with the fuzzy print setting on, so they turn out just great. These jack-o'-lantern hedges. You do have these scary looking dead trees that can go in their place. They're sitting on top of a bed of skulls here. Kind of hard to see in the camera maybe. And then you also have options for kind of these little tree hedges as well that you can assemble. They have small tree branch and trunk that goes in, and then you can decide between a bed of pumpkins to set it up on, or a pile of skulls to set it on. So those are options that you can, I printed all of them, but you don't necessarily need to print all of them if you wanted to go one way or the other. So that is the model and all the pieces that go together with it. And so anyway, really cool model. Like I said, it takes a lot of time to print. We're going to walk through the process of assembling it because it's not difficult, but there are a lot of pieces, and I think when we assembled it, we learned some good steps, I think, in the process. So I just wanted to share some of that with you and just kind of walk along that path with you. So anyway, if you continue on to the assembly process, enjoy. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks, everybody. Okay, well, it's been a few days. Had some other things come up and kind of had a hard time getting back to this project. So today we're going to work on the assembly of this model, and we're just going to walk you through it. I hope it's fun. If not, I don't know what to say. It's fun for me. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch over to kind of an overhead view here. Okay, so should give us the work area. We're gonna start, again, as I mentioned, we've got some glue here. I'm gonna try and use this glue. It's been really good for PLA models so far. So I'm gonna use that glue today. We're gonna start out with the base. So here's our base pieces. And now you just gotta figure out which one goes where. So this looks like the front of the building here. Yes, okay, and here's the other front. And the way these kind of work, they just, he's got some designs here with some little dovetails essentially that kind of go in. So we're gonna put a little glue there. And we're gonna start off with those two, and then we'll probably, yeah, and then we can wedge it in this way. Okay, so we'll glue these two sides, front and back, together, left and right. Now I'm gonna put one of these little finer applicators on here to try and keep the glue to a minimum. I don't want it all over my table if I can avoid it. So I'll put a little glue on that, dovetail there. That should solidify that guy right up. Okay. Okay, great. We're gonna do the same thing on this bigger one back here on the back. I'm just kind of putting it on this wedge portion that's gonna have the best application, I think. It'll fit in there. Okay. Hopefully I can keep all that flat and keep it from gluing through to the table. So far so good. Okay. Okay. And now as those solidify up and get a little more firm, then I think what we'll do is, yeah, we can kind of wedge that in. So I'm going to apply some glue to this side and some to this side. We're going to give that a go. Let's see if we can make it worksy. All right. Easy peasy. Okay, now I'm gonna I mean, most of these upper pieces are gonna solidify this model as we glue on some of these other pieces that cross over, the walls and so forth that cross over these joints. But just to be safe, I am gonna put a little bit of glue just down in some of these seams just to kind of help it. Just down inside those cracks. Just a little bit, nothing crazy, but I want to be able to pick it up and move it around and so forth. I don't want it coming apart on me if I do. So just put a little bit in some non-conspicuous places, basically where the house is going to be sitting or patio or so forth. So, all right, that looks pretty good. A little bit right there. Yeah, I don't want it to be anywhere where it's going to be visible. So this will be under the stairs. Yeah. Okay. I think that's good. We're just going to let that dry for a moment. Put it off to the side. So, all right. Next, well, we're going to use the strip lights as I showed you before, and so I'm going to glue this tower piece that holds the strip lights. I'm going to glue that into here so it's already set, and then we'll put the lights in here in a moment. So just going to apply a little bit of glue on these four corners, and yeah, and then we'll do, okay. That should do it. Okay, and then, yeah, while that is drying for a moment, I think I'm gonna just swap and let's work on the house. So, here's the house piece. As you can see, that's just gonna fit right over this tower. And yeah, it'll be affixed right there. So we've got that piece. I'm gonna bring a couple more of these over. Let's see what we got. Okay, and then we have these pieces, which I believe are gonna go under the roof. Let's just bring these over here. Okay, so a couple of these pieces here. We're gonna have to figure out where all this goes. So looks like we've got some slots here, some slots there, so forth. There's some, you can kind of see it's printed some small indentations here. Those are gonna be, I believe, where the 4 pillars or cornerstones are gonna come up. So yeah, so that's gonna fit there. This guy looks like he's going right there. Let's see, the roof, yeah, it's gonna fit right down in there. Away you go. Okay. So, that all just kind of goes together. I'm gonna set that off to the side, but make sure I keep that straight together. And then I think, let's work on some of these windows. So many windows on this model. So I think this will be an easy thing to kind of keep us going while we're just letting the base dry a little bit more before I start manhandling it, putting the light strings in. I just don't want it to break those joints before they get a chance to really dry. So we're gonna start with some windows here. Okay, maybe we'll start with the door. I think that door is gonna go right in place there. I do have some other small pieces that go underneath the bottom set of windows. So I'm gonna bring those over as well, so we have them while we're doing this window piece. These little guys like this, they're gonna go underneath the windows on the bottom set, like so, I believe. And they must not all be exactly the same size. Or it goes this way. Okay, goes that way. Like little railings. So those that go in there. And then we'll have a set of windows for the bottoms, like so. And then kind of a top window, a little bit more decorative. And the top windows would look something like this. And yeah, I wonder if that's supposed to be flipped around. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. No, I had it right. Okay. So the ledge goes on the bottom, makes sense. Kind of a window seal there. A sill, I guess. So, something like that. And then there's a angular window right here in the middle. Right in the middle. And then another one of those, looks like. Okay. Something like that. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna organize some of these so I've got them in the right places together. And these are the bottomsies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Must be one in the back. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. That looks pretty good. Oh, and there's also these tiny little windows. Tiny little guys. They go down here. Gotta have some windows for the cellar. Okay, so something along those lines. All right, I'm going to glue these in place, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue around the edges. I don't want to get a lot of glue in this window, because I think it will, you know, it'll show glossy and kind of show through. So I'm gonna try and avoid getting it in the middle of the windows. I'm just gonna try and put it right around the edges of the windows. On the door, it doesn't matter quite so much because there's actually a door that's gonna go in place, but anyway. Try and see. Okay, well, that seems to stick good. Okay, so yeah, so now on these again, just right around the edge in a few spots, I think. Put this bottom part on first, kind of this little, I don't know, hand railing, I guess. I don't know what you call that. That piece. And then, yeah, right around the edge in a few locations. I'm not gonna put too much, I don't think. Shouldn't need a whole lot. And up at the top, yeah, you can put more glue at the top because that doesn't really matter. It's not gonna come through. Okay, perfect. That looks good. All right, looks good. Doesn't seem to be coming through on the window at all. You can kind of see what I mean, because on the door, again, the door's gonna cover it, but you can kind of see where I glued right in the middle. You can see that kind of splotch, that darker splotch in the orange. That's what I'm trying to avoid. So like on this window, you don't see any of that because we're keeping the glue out of that, the middle of the window as much as possible. All right, while I'm on this right side, I'll put some around this tiny little cellar window. Just a little bit. I don't think we need very much. Just got to keep the ghosts in the basement, I guess. We'll just go right up this right side. So again, across the bottom of this one, it's all more solid plastic, and across the top. And I'm just gonna put just a little tiny bit along the edge of that frame just to hold it in, so it doesn't ever wanna bend out of shape on me or something. Okay, we're just gonna keep working around here. This is the exciting part, right? I know I'm always excited when I watch people do stuff on YouTube. So, gotta get a little bit of glue on your fingers, otherwise it's not a very successful job. So, okay, we're just gonna keep working our way around here. So we may just cut for a second and come back, but we're just gonna keep working for now. Okay, that one's in. This one up the top I need to do. Kind of skipping around and not even following my own guidelines here. Said I was gonna work up the right, and then I went to the middle. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, we'll work down the left, I guess. Oh, all right. I'm gonna keep working along. Just keep it going. So yeah, the temperatures here kind of turned pretty cold, so I just lit up my wood burning stove out here in the shop for the first time this season. And you know, it's almost Halloween, a couple of days away actually from the time I'm recording this, so it seems like it's going to be a pretty cold Halloween. All the kiddos in coats. I hope the coat's part of their costume. I always hated that growing up. Nobody wants to wear a coat when you're out trick-or-treating. Superman doesn't wear a coat, does he? I don't know, maybe. Okay. And then up the side, kind of along the top, up the side, right along the bottom. I like this glue with the applicator, is pretty nice actually. And I kind of slide these windows down just a little bit so they're right up against those pieces and try and keep them square. There's a little bit of wiggle room, and so yeah, I try and keep it square in there as much as possible so you don't end up with a cockeye window. Now, it's a haunted It's a Haunted Manor, so yeah. Might be an old decrepit building, maybe it doesn't really matter. Maybe cockeyed windows are the norm, I guess. Okay, so that takes care of the front of the building. Seem like they're sitting pretty solid and solidifying there. So it gives you kind of an idea of what the front looks like now. Okay, and we'll just keep working our way around the sides, and then we'll come back here in a moment. All right, well, we made some progress. We've got 3 of the walls done. We're just on the last wall, and I thought I'd jump back in on here and share some things just to make sure as you're kind of finishing up your side if you're working on it. I did notice the little tiny windows in the cellar. You know, they just look like rectangles. But if you look at the back of that window on one side, I don't know if you can see that very clearly there. On one side, it's kind of sloped. It's got an angle to it. That needs to go up towards the top of the building. And so there, you know, don't make the mistake, I guess, of just thinking they're fully rectangular. There's a little bit of a difference side to side, so make sure you've got the top side. That obviously will help it going smoothly. Other than that, yeah, it's pretty dang easy, or at least to me, I think. It's a great model. It just goes right together like it should, as long as your printer is working right and everything came out right. The nice thing about this model too is you didn't need to go adjust anything. You just pick the colors and away you go. I didn't adjust the size. This is all printed at 100% just as he has it in the slicer file. So again, yeah, just make sure that those small little windows are pointing up the right direction. I mean, they'll probably go in there even if you don't have it like that, but they might be a little bit askew or something. Maybe just don't fit quite as nice. I don't know. I like mine to fit nice. Not very haunted house of me, but I like things to be straight. Okay, and we're just about done with the windows here. There's a couple more minutes. Everything will be wrapped up. Got a little bit of glue on the outside of the building there. Let me wipe that off with my fingers like you do. Let it glue around so I don't stick to everything. And all right, these last couple of windows on this building. Now, I do have 2 windows left over. Those are for the dormers on top of the roof, on the roof portion, so those will go on in a bit. Yeah, I really do like this glue and the applicator. Boy, it sure works nice. Okay, and that is that. That is the windows all put together. Yeah, a little bit of a tedious part, but just repetitive. Okay, now let's look back here to this base again and see how this is looking. Oh yeah, that seems fairly solid. It could use a little more glue in some of these spots here. I'm just going to put a little bit more down in this seam underneath where the sidewalk pieces will be, so it's not in the way at all. I just want that to be really solid. Okay, make sure as you're putting this together that you don't jump ahead and start gluing down sidewalk pieces or the building or these kind of things. You want to make sure you're allowing for yourself to have the area here open so that you can put in the lights. If you try and do that afterwards, I don't know. I don't know how that would work. Probably not very well. So, again, I got this set of lights. I'll link these down in the description, as well as this glue and some of the other things I've been using, filaments and things. But this set of lights, I really lucked out on. I think they're probably similar to what Fulv recommends. I don't know for sure, because the ones he recommended I didn't have access to here in the US. But this set just comes out to work absolutely perfectly. Length and not only the length, but they've included, I'll show you here once I've got it all unwrapped, they've included kind of some cable in between. So let me show you. So again, this is supposed to go behind a TV. So you can see here, you've got the control unit. This also has the microphone in it that's going to respond to sound and so forth. It's got a Wi-Fi unit in this set. So you've got kind of a shorter side for the sides of your TV, and then a cable in between, okay? And then a strip of LEDs that's longer for the bottom and the top of your TV screen. And then again, a cable in between, short for the other side, cable in between, and then long for the bottom or top, whichever. So the way I did this, and what worked out great for me, is I just started here at the back, pick a side, I don't think it matters. And I fed this set of lights all the way through. Let me think here. All the way through, so that when you get to the end, I may have glued this on earlier than I probably should have. Maybe I would leave that in the future, but so what's going to happen is you're going to have a set of lights in this quadrant here on this side, and then the way that these cables in between, where the corners of your TV would be, they just ended up working just about as perfect as you can get. So I'm going to feed this down through. I think in the future I probably would have left that open. Right now, let me think here. As I come in to the bottom, I want this sitting here, and this first set from the controller, I want it going around this section. So I want it kind of going around like so. And then when it gets to the top, then I want this black part to be going through underneath here. I guess I can go around, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm just gonna feed this all the way down through here. Just being careful to not kink it too much or what have you. Keep the LEDs safe. So I'm just going to feed that section all the way down. So this final piece that's at the end, this longer piece, which would be at the say top or bottom of your TV, that section will end up wrapping around this center post. So that's where that one will go. This shorter section will go around this quadrant. Okay, so we'll feed them all back through the other side here in a minute. We're just going to keep feeding them carefully through there. This longer section will actually be out here in the sidewalk area. Like I said, that's why I really like this set of lights. It just worked out perfect size-wise. And you want to make sure in this square, there's some LEDs because you could potentially put, you know, this piece of cable under there, and then you're not going to get any light shining up, and that does light up a piece of the porch sidewalk. So I want to make sure that that has LEDs on it. So we'll pull that back through here in a second when we're ready. So, all right, and then this part here. Let me see, I might have to do this again now that yeah, I should have waited and put this on after. That would have been easier. So now I just want to make sure that this all works out around the outside like I'm thinking it should. Okay, so I'm going to pull that around. We'll just pull it through a little bit and then we can readjust. So, easiest to probably go around this way and then let that come back. Okay, so let's see. How good's this glue? That's the question. I don't want to break it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. The other thing I probably ought to do is just plug this light strip in and make sure it's working, that it works before I fix it all down in there and cover it up and glue it together and so forth. So I'm just going to plug it in. Make sure that the lights all twinkle. Yeah, looks great. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay. All right, now I got to decide here. I've got to decide the best way. I think the best way is going to be to have this be the end. Yeah. This is the fun part. Okay. But once I get through this, then the rest of it's pretty simple. It's just gluing things on the building and so forth. So, but this, obviously, this you want to do right. You want it to be right so that it's, yeah, it twinkles the way you want it to and so forth. So I think I'm gonna take these back out. Yeah, and put them around. Let me see. It's like I feel like all of a sudden it's a Rubik's Cube problem here. Okay. Again, I want to make sure there's some LED, there's an LED underneath this patio. So I don't know if you can see that very well, but I've got this wire. And I just want to make sure that right in the center, see that guy right there? I want to make sure one of those LEDs ends up in there. So I'm going to put that guy in there. I'm going to try and keep it there while I work the rest of these around the outside. Yeah. Okay, I think we're gonna go around the other side. Okay, so I'm gonna pull these back through. I'm not gonna edit this out because I think this is important stuff to see how this process goes, but I'm trying to keep the back of this tape on there so that it doesn't start to unstick on me or stick onto things before I want it to. So, okay, this adhesive strip is pretty sticky, which is great, but only when you want it to be right. Okay, so we're gonna come back around. Okay. And again, just being careful not to twist it too much, or I just don't want to break any of the electrical connections on these strips. They're pretty resilient usually, but you just want to be careful to, yeah, avoid any super aggressive. You just got to be patient, I guess, with it. So, easier said than done sometimes, I know. Okay, got that one through. This guy's going through, good. Okay, now we're down to this one. This is the courtyard section. Good, 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 good. Okay, nice and easy. Good, very good. Okay. All right, this will be better. So this time I just went around the outside. Again, if you didn't, you know, if I hadn't glued this in already, could have easily manipulated that whichever way works the best. But I think in this case, this will work out well because what I want to do is have the lights start. I want to start sticking them here on the back and work my way around. Yeah, okay. All right. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to pull this adhesive backing tape off of here, and then that adhesive strip will be all kinds of ready to roll. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to work my way down into the corners, not pushing it so hard into the corner that I'm going to break something, but I just don't want to break anything if I can avoid it. I'm going to make sure again that all the lights are working. Cool, good, 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 good. That looks good. Yep, okay. Alrighty. And we're just going to work our way around, sticking these down against the sides. Inside of here, this will light up part of the building, but really, again, you know, these are going to end up in inside the house. And that's also where you're going to have this wraparound of these. So you have a lot of lights on the inside of the house, actually, which would be great. So I'm just going to kind of bend that and poke it through here a little bit. Good, 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 good. Okay. And then let's see if I can work my way again. I want to make sure that there's an LED in this square before I fix everything in there. So, all right, good. It's out of the way. Good. All right, that's working great. And then all the way to the back with that guy. There you go. Wrap it all the way around, and then this wire can just kind of go back in the front. Okay. Great. Again, if I probably would have done that a little bit different, but that works out. Okay, this next section, and I just want to make sure I've got an LED sitting in this gap here. So I'm just going to pull some of that tape off a ways and see if I can catch up to it down here. Rip it off there. All right, perfect. And then I want to flip that guy around. If I can get it without tweaking it too bad. There you go. I want this guy, this first LED in this group, sitting right in there. Perfect. Okay. All right, now this should be a lot easier from here on out. Okay. So again, I'm just kind of making sure everything, now there's a lot of room in the center of this house, so don't get too concerned about where these wires end up. They're all going to be covered. So I'm just going to start working my way now around the outside or the inside of here. And again, just along the edges down in here, I want to make sure that that I'm not sticking up any higher than that plastic edge, because there is a piece of sidewalk, essentially that cracked sidewalk, that's going to go on top of this, and it needs to glue down inside the recess there. So I want to make sure that that is not covered up in any way. Okay, just working my way down and around. Wedging it into the corners here and there. Making sure it's down low enough that it's not going to get in the way of the sidewalk. Okay. Alrighty, we're getting close here. Good, good, good. Okay. Working my way along. Okay. Now, as I get down towards the end of this one, now I need to stick this back through here on the other side here in a moment. And so, got to start thinking about that before I glue everything in there. Just want to make sure I have enough. It should be just about perfect on this longer section that would be, say, the top of the TV. Just about perfect to fit in there. All the way around, look at that. Now that, I don't know if Fulv designed it that way, but if you didn't, you got so dang lucky. But I think it's just a good design, is my guess. Okay, now, again, on this one, I'm gonna stick it back through here. And we're gonna go around the edge of this and so forth. This one is gonna be the one that wraps around this post. And so you get that all the way through there. And then this smaller section is gonna be the bottom, you know, let's call it the basement of the house. And again, I wanna make sure that I don't go all the way through, because I want there to be a light under that deck right there, under the porch. So, almost there. I'm gonna peel some of this out so I can stick it to the floor. There you go, that should do it. Okay, and then around we go. So again, this is, you know, it's not difficult, but it's just gotta take your time, work your way around, make sure you get it good and stuck to the sides. Again, don't push so hard that you're breaking a LED light or a chip if you can avoid it. You can kind of go in on the corners of these in some areas better than others. Yeah, some areas better than others on the strip. Obviously there's some electronics on it that you don't want to break off, so just be aware of that. Okay, and then on this one, we're kind of, see if I can get it up under there a little bit, but doesn't really matter too much there. Okay, so I've kind of worked my way around all the insides of the patio, up here in the sidewalk area, and also the underneath the building down here. And then with this last longer section, I'm actually going to wrap this and affix it to this post. So and that should be it. So we're just going to slowly wind our way up the post here. Yep. There you go. Okay. And just being careful with the lights. I don't want to go too crazy and tight and make it snap or something. But if you wrap it differently and end up, you know, with a bunch left over or something, you can cut. There's certain areas here where you can cut. Now this set is kind of set up to be a certain length and go behind a TV and so forth, so I don't know that I'd recommend it. I think I would just stuff the lights in there somewhere and let them glow. But anyway, as you can see, it works out just about perfectly to fix all the way up that side. So that's the lights done. Now let's just test them, make sure that everything's working before I cover them up. Okay. Maybe don't throw away some of these instructions. If you did get these particular light sets, you want to keep those. These do connect to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and there's an app, a QR code there that you can download. You can set these lights up to do all kinds of cool things, react to music, different scenes, whatever. So make sure you don't just throw that out, I guess. But yeah, that looks great. That came out perfect. Okay, just make sure everything looks good, that it's wrapped up where you want it. All the little twinkly lights are working. I'm gonna go back through and just make sure it's, you know, adhered to walls and spots, that it's not gonna just come all loose everywhere on you. But especially around this post, just make sure, it doesn't need to be 100% everywhere, but I would make sure that it's got some spots where it's sticking really well. Now we will probably not glue down the roof. There'll be a way to take it off so you can see down inside here if something does come unstuck here, but a lot of this will be covered and glued over. So, all right, we're gonna pause right there for a minute, and we'll be back on the next steps. Okay, now that we have these lights on, it's time to work on the rest of the building. So, turn these off for now. Okay, let's see. I think the best thing, now that we know the lights are working underneath where the sidewalk is, let's go ahead and place some of those pieces in the garden. And we'll kind of work down through that. All right, so, okay. All right, so first of all, this big piece of sidewalk. And this piece just fits right, and that's why I was saying you need to make sure that there's not any of the lights sticking up and above into that space. It all looks good. Okay. You could potentially leave that just like that. I'm gonna glue it down, but you could leave it like that. So if you ever needed to get into the lights, I guess, you'd have that ability. I'm just gonna put some glue in a few spots around. And this is probably somewhat similar to the windows. I don't wanna get it too messy to where, I don't know, I'm putting glue on the translucent, you know, iridescent portions. I want to kind of keep those clean. I am trying to glue across the gap of the seams too, so that this acts as another way to kind of hold that in place. So. Just gonna clean up any overs where I've kind of gone beyond that's gonna be visible, maybe with my little fingies. Okay. And yeah, Okay, so that will stick there. And come around and push that down a few more times as it dries here. Just kind of keep it in place. Okay. While that starts to set up, I think we can put these garden sections in as well. So these will fit in here. There's also these little sidewalk pieces, if you will, that go down the sides of the home. Will fit in there too. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue that all down as well. Just trying to make sure that this sidewalk stays down as it dries. Just fairly quick drying. Okay, so again, this one is going to act as a bridge, if you will, over the top of the seam. So just make sure you're bridging that across. Just putting it a few spots, not every single spot necessarily, but I want it enough spots that it's going to hold it down appropriately. So there you go. That one's much more solid than the sidewalk, so that should really just float there while it dries. We'll do the other side. So yeah, if you've downloaded this model or been thinking about it, I realize, you know, I don't even know if I'll get this released in time for Halloween, so it'll be pretty close. Might be spaced past the window of opportunity for a Halloween model maybe, but yeah, I'd love to hear your comments, see your comments in the on the video if you've done this model, what you think of it. It's pretty dang awesome, I think. So, okay. Oh, there's these little guys. Just a little bit here and there for this one. There you go. Okay, so now, while that is drying, I'm going to flip these lights back on just to make sure. So now you can kind of see how that sidewalk starts to light up with the lights underneath coming through that orange filament that's semi-transparent. They're mostly in the thickness of it. That's this luminous orange filament there. So anyway, comes out looking really great. And again, you can kind of see in this square we left these two LEDs in here. That will be under the porch. So we put the porch in place so you'll get some of that piece lit up as well. Okay, let's see. Let's maybe do the walls. Yes. While we're kind of working on the courtyard, so to speak, let's maybe put these walls in place. Let's see, that guy's gonna go there, that guy's gonna go there. Okay. So, that'll just fit nicely in there. And nothing special on this one, just glue her down. And this side. I really like these applicators. Makes it kind of nice. Okay. This one actually fits into a little, you can kind of see the little tab here on the end. I don't know if I can hold it in a way that you can see it. You kind of see that little tab fits inside of a slot on this other side, so I want to make sure that gets put in place. Okay. All looks good. All right, great. Again, I'm just kind of trying to glue across the seams of the bottom plate as well, so that acts as another, I guess, stability for the plate to hold together when you're carrying it around or putting it away in its storage place. Okay, well, let's see. Grab some more of the building pieces here for the Haunted Manor itself. Okay. So here we have kind of the stairs and the deck, or the balcony, I guess, above the entry. We have some columns that are decorative for the front of the building. These are the kind of decorative cornerstone pieces. And then these columns actually will be out, will hold up that front balcony. So I think first I'm going to glue these together, just to kind of, yeah. Probably don't need too much glue for this. Just to create, these are printed on flat ends, so they're sliced in the middle. And I just want to get them nice and straight. Yeah, perfect. Okay, and the second one. Well, looks good. Okay. Plenty of goop-de-goo. So much goop-de-goo. All right. You just kind of hold it together just to make sure that joint stays straight. Looks good. Pretty good. Okay. That is fairly instant. Okay. Let's bring the building back over. We're going to tilt this guy back up on its face again, or on the back, so I can see the front. And again, these columns, there's this nice thing to attention to detail by Fulv. He's kind of put a little slot in there. And there's a corresponding nub on the building, so it makes it really hard to accidentally glue it upside down, for instance. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in place. These decorative columns up the front. There you go. Sticking my fingers to the model. I guess that's a sign I got plenty of glue. Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Well, the front two columns are there. Now, let me look at this patio and how that goes together. There's kind of a trim piece in marble and then a slot and a groove for that to go together. You've got these holes in the bottom, which I'm guessing these posts are gonna go in. Okay. And then, yeah, I think I had that upside down, so yeah, okay. All right, so there's a groove all the way around this, and then an indentation there where these pieces go. Now this piece matches, yeah, it matches well, but there's no light coming up through it, so it's not gonna shine the same. I'm just gonna go ahead and glue these pieces together. Just to get this started. Okay. Glue those two pieces. And then that's gonna fit right there. But I don't wanna glue that yet because I think we need to make sure we've got these columns in place first. So, yeah, that guy's gonna go there. Okay. Yeah. Again, the attention to detail by Fulv on this is awesome. So we've got this all doweled out, essentially, little knots, little notches for the right place in the right place. Okay. Makes it hard to probably mess it up. I'm sure I could figure it out, but I don't think that needs to be glued. I think those are gonna be pretty solid there. But I am going to put a little glue on here where in the slot there, and then I think I'll put a little glue up here too on these tops of these columns just to make sure they stay put nice and stable there. Oh, hi Fly, what's up? Okay, I'm just gonna hold that together here for a second. Make sure that works out well. Start sticking. Okay. All right, Insta sticky. So now you can kind of see that porch going in with the columns. There is, again, that little hole here that we left the lights in. You can kind of see the this hole coming out under the step there on the landing. That is for this little piece of sidewalk, essentially. So I'm gonna put, again, just some glue right around the outside edge of that. That's again, a super delicate one, actually. I don't wanna get too much glue everywhere, but I want it to stick. Okay. That guy goes in. Nice. Perfect. And then again, the top of this this little balcony has a piece as well. It's gonna go in it. I'm just gonna put it around the outside so that I don't have the shininess, but it's not gonna matter as much on here because there's not any light source coming up through it. So we'll just affix that there. Okay. Last piece for that little balcony is probably this railing. It's just gonna glue onto this wedge. And he's got the nice little groove to put it in. You know exactly where it goes. Bam. Got more glue than I wanted on that one, but that's all right. Wipe it off with my fingy. Okay. Let's see. Last piece might be to put the stairs on here. I don't know. Trying to decide if I want to stick those on the building or if I want those to stick on the platform, or both. Maybe both. You can kind of see where those stairs end up here. The stairs go on there. I think I'll glue it onto the building first. Yeah. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the front of the building here where the stairs go. Not too much. Just enough. Just enough. So I feel like I sound like Bob Ross a little bit. Just enough. Happy little buildings. Okay. Hopefully that'll start to adhere. Okay. Last part of the building, I think, are all of these corners, and they do stick up just a little bit. That will correspond to the notch that was in the bottom of this soffit set. So I want those to stick up just a hair. Yeah, okay. That should go on pretty easy. We'll go ahead and glue those up. Okay. Nice and easy. I want it flush on the bottom. And it'll be, I just want to match it up all the way down the sides so that these lines in the building match up with this column. These marble lines that go through the building. Okay. Same thing over here while that dries. Keep my hands on both. Okay. Always making sure I get the bottom on the bottom. That's important. Okay, good. Okay. Awesome, awesome. It is coming together. We're close. All right. I'm going to let that dry just for a minute, then I'll do the back. Yeah. Groovy. Okay. Now I'll do the back portion here. Okay. Bingo, bingo. Looks good. Nice and lined up. Yep. Looks good. Okay. Let that one dry. Let's finish off this last corner. Okay. Groovy. Okay. Oh, got a little overzealous there. Make sure that sticks well first. Okay. Awesome. Okay, that should be about it for that portion. Okay, we're gonna move over to the roof here. Let's see, a couple more pieces. Oh, yeah, we can do that. Okay. The roof is on fire. Okay. All right, so these, essentially, we're just gonna glue them together. Nothing special here. Add a little glue all the way around. Okay. That just goes on nice and neat. Okay. And then same on this roof piece. Now, there was a correction on Fulv's model, and I did not print this one after the correction. I have done a different one. He corrected this roof piece, so make sure you've got the latest files, because they've got a little indentation here that's supposed to fit inside the grooves of this this piece, but you can see kind of has a little bit of a ledge there. But on this particular one, this is before he revised it, and so it is not in the right spot. So I'm just going to shave that off. Like I said, there is a revised edition that came out where that's corrected, but I'm just going to shave this little ledge off of the front of the building with a knife, just so that I can glue it flat on the surface. I just didn't think it was worth reprinting this whole piece. I had already printed it. And that revision just came out maybe a week and a half ago as of the time of this video. So, anyway. So I'm just going to take and cut these off the roof so that it's nice and flat essentially along there. Okay. That side's good. Let's do the other side here. Okay. Still a little bit of a lip on here. I'm going to take that off just a little bit more. Okay, awesome. Okay, that's now flat, and this will sit flush. Yeah, perfect. Flush on the front of there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this roof piece now down. Just want to see where I should put the glue at. Okay, along here, looks like. Along here, along here, along here. Yep, that looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good. Okay. That's gonna get glued in there. And then this front piece can just go right on the front of there. Like I said, if you get the newer model, you're set. You can line it right up with the notches, but because I didn't print that one, I gotta kind of eyeball this a little bit. Okay. Looks good side to side. Looks good on the front. Awesome. Okay, we're just gonna kind of hold that here for a sec and let it get there. Okay. All right. So you got these side decorative sides that go on the side of the building. I want to make sure that the engraving portion over here is obviously facing out. And I'm going to put some glue on the side of it too, just to keep it. And then I'm going to put some glue along the slot here, so that'll all stay nicely glued together. Okay, that's one side. The other side. I really am liking this glue. The other side, okay. Okay, those get nice and stuck. And then the other parts for this, there's kind of these stove pipes that they go across the top here. Bingo, bingo. I put quite a bit of glue in there just because there's kind of rough filament lines in there. I just want it to really stick. Okay. Those are in place. All right. And then these windows that we still had left over for the dormers, they've got a little notch in the bottom of them. And again, I want to put just filament on the outside. I don't want it to stick to the glass, essentially what becomes the glass portion. So I'm trying to just put it on the outside of that dormer. Keep it from getting too glossy over. It's going to do it a little bit, just the nature of the model there, but should be okay. And I did notice, you know, there's not a ton of light that comes up this far, but there's a little bit. It comes up through the bottom and up across that that rod up the middle of the building. So, okay, now you got a decision to make. This is one of a couple of decisions besides just the colors that you're printing. So you have two different insets here for the top of the building. You've got this big skull guy, I guess. You can decide whether you print that one or you can do the clock tower with the skulls. Personally, I really like this one. So that's what I'm going to do. Again, I'm going to be really careful not to get glue where the clock is, because there is light that's going to be shining through that too. So I'm going to kind of go around it, but I'm going to stay away from that hole in the middle just a little bit so that it doesn't get in there. So that guy will just stick in there. You're good to go. Okay. All right, and then there's kind of a rooftop, I don't even know what I call it, weather vane, I would say, I don't know. But there's this piece that just goes on the very tip top of the roof here. And we'll have some fencing that will go around it too. Just put a little glue in there to hold that in. That piece that goes down in there. That's nice and snug. Okay. All right, the other piece that I had left over, which I forgot to put on already, is the front door. So there's the front door, and that's gonna go on the building itself, obviously. And that's why I was saying this front door piece, yeah, if you get a little glue on that transparent piece, not as big of a deal, because there's a door that's gonna go right over it. Okay. All right, well, gosh, we're making progress here. Okay. Getting down to the nitty-gritty. We have kind of balcony pieces to go on. We have some decorative skulls that are trim work around the soffits and edges to go on as well. That's going to go around the roof line mostly. And then, let's see, okay, we've got the fountain to put together. So we can put that over here too. And The only other piece I have is that needs gluing together, I guess, I think. They're kind of these bushes. If you want to use those, you'd have to glue those together. Okay. Well, and then you have all of the fencing and so forth that's going to go around the building. So, all right. So we got lots of pieces of fencing. We're going to take those, put them around the outside. But there is one piece, most of the fencing just snaps in. It just snaps into place, which is awesome. But there is one piece that does need to be glued, and that is the front gates. And they need to be glued into the front, so we'll glue those as well. Okay. All right, so most of this decorative stuff is actually for the top of the building, most of it. So all the way around the outside here of the building, around the front, the sides, the back, this has these trim pieces with the skulls on it. And then above it, there's kind of these notched out areas all the way around. That is kind of the railing piece, trim piece that goes around the top. So we're gonna start with the railing piece, I think, and go around. So I'm just gonna dry fit these. These actually fit into each other. Kind of have a little tenon joint there that goes on it. So I just want to dry fit those to make sure everything's fitting where it should first, and then that I've got it in the right place and so forth. Then I'll glue those on now. So, okay. So I think what would be best is probably to glue this back end on first. So I'm just going to put some glue down inside this groove. Good. And I'm going to put that piece in place. Okay. And I'm going to put some glue down this groove along the side. I'm actually going to put just a drop along the edge of that joint. And let's see if we can get it in there. There you go. And kind of just finagle it down into there. Same on this other side. And down that joint line. Looks good. Okay, groovy. That looks great. Okay, then we just got to put the front pieces on. No, I can probably get you a better view. Let me see how this works. Maybe. Let's see. Let's go to this one for a second here. So, okay. So yeah, on the front of here, you can kind of see this piece is going to go in there. Again, you got the little joint. The nice thing is he put the slot on both ends of this piece, so really it doesn't matter which one you use where. There's not a right and a left, for instance. You're just good to go. Okay, and then this last one. And here we go. Up that joint. There we go. Okay. Cool, cool. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. Let's see. We do have these little decorative fencing pieces to put in place too up here on the top of the building. And you just kind of got to bend them out just a little bit and then they go in. Trying trying to decide. Maybe I'll put a little drop of glue down in that just to keep them in the right spot. Just maybe on each side and one in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, I'll bend it like Beckham, except not. Okay, there you go. And we're gonna do the same thing on the back. And make sure when you put these in that you've got the bats that are colored differently. I did mine in metal gray, that they're on the outside, not on the inside. Especially if you're gluing it. Come on, get in there. There we go. Nope. Very cool. Just want to hold that in place while it sticks a little bit better. Okay. So, the next part of this is all these trim pieces. Now, there's a couple of pieces that go here around the deck. Switch back over. Around the decking here. So there are a few pieces that we need to hold out. They're the smallest ones, I believe. Yeah. So they're kind of thinner than the rest. So we're going to pull those aside. The rest of these all go around this soffit side here. It's trim all the way around here, and all the way around the building. So anyway, there's several pieces. You can kind of figure out which ones just by this size, obviously. So we're gonna go with the longest one first. It goes down the back of the building here. Okay. Make sure the skulls are facing the right direction. You don't want upside down skulls. That probably is a bad omen of some sort. I thought too it'd be cool to print these skulls in a different color. Gold, or I don't know, black or something. Anyway, have fun with that. Could have a lot of fun with that, I guess. Printing it all kinds of crazy colors, but here's where we're at. 1 second. Okay. So we've got those two sides on. Now we're gonna flip it over and do this other side. All good. All good. Okay, so we got the back and the two sides. Now we're going to come to the front. And it looks like we've got 3 different pieces for the front. So kind of one's down the middle here under the clock face is a little bit longer. And then the other 2 sides are the same size. They're just shorter. And this guy. Okay, groovy. That looks great. Okay. All right, then on the balcony here across the top and on the 2 sides, you have these thinner sets of skulls as trim. So I'm just going to put those on. Again, making sure I've got the Skulls facing the right direction. Okay. Awesome, awesome. And one more. And those don't want to stick as well. Okay. There you go. There's your skulls. Let me switch over again. I'll show you. There's your skulls on the front balcony, if you will. On both sides. Okay. I think that's it for the building, actually. So, well, almost. So I keep saying. There are some decorative pieces now that we can put in place. So, what's an old building without a gargoyle, right? Gotta have some statues. So, there's two different sizes of gargoyle. There's 4 of the longer winged variety and 2 of the shorter wing variety. They all have the same size plate at the bottom, so we just need to make sure we put the right ones in the right spots. I think the shorter wings go in front of the door, because if you put these longer wings, it's really hard to get in the building, right? So that helps. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue these guys down to these platforms, making sure they're facing the right direction, I guess. And again, I did these in a silk PLA that's metallic, like a metal gray, but you could do these in different colors and have a lot of fun with that. Okay, and then we do have a set of these bigger wing gargoyles that go up here on the roof platforms that are little squares here. So we're gonna put one there. Get my support material out of the way. There you go. Okay. I'm gonna put one on this side. Okay. And that is, I'm not gonna glue that roof on. I'm just gonna keep it off so that if you ever need to get into the lights underneath, you can. But you could potentially just glue that down, I think. And leave the house not glued down. I think I'd rather, I don't know, we'll look at it. So, let's see, the other items, let's go back now. We're kind of done with that, I think, for now. Let's go back to this. And on this one, we've got all these little fence pieces. I'm not gonna glue these on. I am gonna just snap them in place. So you just bend them a little bit. They're pretty thin. Trying not to break it, obviously, but if you just bend it and get it in the groove, in the slot, and then it just fits in there. And all these little pieces. Again, making sure the bat's facing out. Okay. These pieces need to snap in there. All the way around on the front of the building too. The front of the garden, I guess. All the way around. So all those are in now. Okay. I'm going to glue the gates in a second, but first I wanted to glue this fountain together, and it kind of sits, let's see, you got this statue on the top. It has notches in it so that you get it right, which is kind of nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this top part into here, just making sure it stays nice and flat against it while it dries here for a second. I don't want it leaning. So that guy goes in there, okay. And then at the bottom, again, you got these notches in it and corresponding notches. On the bottom, again, you've got kind of some light that's allowed to come through there. If you wanted to, you could actually put more light inside that hole with your string in there to get a little more light in there. I did not do that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the outside of this and glue my transparent down in there. And then on top of that, we've got this little next level of the fountain. So I'm just going to put a little glue around that knob, glue that guy down. Okay, and we're gonna got a little piece on the bottom of that I want to get rid of so it sits nice and flush. Yeah. That's better. Okay, we're just going to put some glue along this and down here, and the bottom of that. Bingo, bingo. And then the only thing left is the statue itself. And that's just going to go right on this knob. Okay, sorry, that's almost behind me. Okay, and I just want to make sure I get them facing forwards. Groovy. Okay. So there's your fountain, and that just gets glued down on there. Like so. I'm just going to put a little glue around that. Just around the edges here. Nice. Okay. Let's see. We have these little statues that kind of go off to the sides here. I'm going to glue those down as well. You probably don't need to, but I want to just keep it all in one piece as much as possible so they don't go missing. So I'm just going to glue those facing in towards the stairway. You could face them towards the front of the building or front of the yard. Okay, and then the other item to glue is again the gate. And so the gate, I'm just going to put a little glue on this tab of the gate and just fit it in there and let it work its magic, I guess. So we're just going to let that guy do its thing here. Then we'll do the other side fairly quickly, so if I need to adjust it, maybe I still can. That looks pretty dang good, actually. Okay. So there's the gate. We have these last couple of gargoyles that sit and watch over the road or sidewalk in front of the building, I guess. So they're going to go in place on these pillars. Okay. Okay, dang. All right, the only other items are decorative, really. Bring these over. So, all right, I think I'm going to glue this roof down on this one. Well, let me see. Let me see how nice this house fits on here. Trying to decide. I think I'll glue the house down and leave the roof so it can come off. Yeah. Well, if I leave, no, I don't want to ever have this exposed to where it could get damaged, so yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to put a little glue all the way around here. And then just glue that down. Only as strong as your foundation, right? So we want a good foundation here. And put a little out here too for the stairs. Okay. Bango, bango. Okay. Let's see, jump back up. Now you can kind of see the whole thing coming together. I am not going to glue this on so that if I ever need to get in there, I can. So that's just going to fit like so. And yeah, let's angle it up just a little. Okay. Let's see. Last piece to glue would be these bushes if you want to use those. And that's easy. You're just putting a little bit of glue down in the hole here. Sticking the tree branch down in there. I chose to use the pumpkins. So that's going to go there, and then the shrub itself. Just put a little glue in the hole at the top. Maybe a little bit on this too. And then figure out. So that just glues, oh, stuck to my finger, that's a good sign. That just glues on there, like that. Like I said, there is the other option, which is the skulls. So you have the pumpkins or the skulls to choose from as a base. Personally, I like my favorite. So that's the one option you can choose from. My favorite is these guys. I don't know why, I just think they're fantastic. And these I chose not to glue because I want to be able to switch them out. So I've got them facing out to the front yard of the street to scare off the passerbys. The other option that you have are these scary trees. So you could, for instance, throw a scary tree in there too, like so. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's about all she wrote. So I really hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, hopefully we can do more of these things. I think this is a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to building a lot more in the future, doing more things, maybe more with Fulv as well. There's some cool models coming out for Christmas and things like that, so might be a good opportunity to do more of his work. Regardless, hope you enjoyed the time with us. And I hope you get out and print something great. Thanks for watching. See you next time.